All right, everybody. It's a broadcast of the Ebony Star Network, sponsored by the E Nation. It's GentCulture. I'm going to talk to you, brothers, tonight about conversation and about the respect for yourself. The lack of respect for yourself often translate into negativity towards women. That conversation, how it can make or break you with a woman, especially the content of your conversation, is extremely important. Women hear differently. They don't hear what we want them to hear. And we're going to talk about that tonight. It's Gen Culture, and it's up right now. Damn. fathers, upstanding men. We teach young brothers how to get it right when it comes down to women. Shout out to everybody in the chat, Maurice Delk. Shout out to Yvette. Yeah, no problem, Maurice. Your content creator. All right, before I get started, let me get a sound check. Miss Frankie, am I coming in loud and clear?
Coming in loud and clear.
All right, go on mute, please. Let me get started. All right, everybody. As always, I don't do a big rant. I'm just going to get right into it. Let's start with the conversation. Now, a lot of you young brothers make really, really bad mistakes when you talk to women. I listen to a lot of you here on social media when you talk to women, and I'm not surprised that the women don't like you. They don't respond to you in a positive way. They want you to go away. Many of them start calling you names because the content of your conversation is just simply so repulsive that they just don't want to carry on a conversation with you. You can't have a conversation comprised of so much negativity that that a woman finds everything you say to be repulsive. Okay, and then it actually turns into a situation where she can't stand you or think you are a disgusting person or you're a despicable person. And that's what happens when you listen to these red pill guys like Donovan Sharp, Red Pill Supreme, who have absolutely horrible content in their conversation. Their conversations consist of nothing but insults. Their conversation consists of all kinds of degradation when it comes down to women. Women do not like this. You know, women, when you understand the female nature, right? Feminine nature, women like nice things. They like things that are well developed and nice looking, things that are pleasing to the eye. That they love good smelling things. You know, they love serenity, beautiful settings, and things like that. So your conversation has to have some of that in it, or all of that in it. Your conversation has to be appealing to them. It has to be uh, peaceful and tranquil. It has to be um, beautiful in such a way, right? The content of your conversation. Now, some of you have some of the worst approaches I've ever heard. You don't approach a woman and say, "Hey, shorty." You don't say, "Hey, what's going on with you, girl?" You know, some of you guys don't even introduce yourselves at all. You just go to the girl and just start saying, "What you doing? Where you at? What's up? Can I get some of that?" Well, you don't talk to a woman that way. That's not the way you talk to a woman. This is why you guys have serious problems here on social media. You're always talking about dating apps because you need aids. A real man don't need an aid. A real man is strong enough to attract the attention of a woman on his own with no aid. But in order to do that, you have to have yourself built up right. You have to respect yourself. You have to have the right kind of conversation in your head. Now, we also talk about self respect, right? We'll get to that a little bit later, how that causes you to have negativity towards women, a lack of self respect. A lot of you guys don't respect yourselves. And that translates into your hatred for women because you don't respect yourself. See, I would never get out here at 55 years old and dress like a teenager and make a pump and dump video because for my age, that's not only embarrassing, it's ridiculous. And I would do that because I wouldn't respect myself as a man. So when I don't have that kind of respect for myself, that disdain that I have of myself carries over to women. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's get to the conversation. Now, to help me with this exercise, I'm going to bring in the young lady knight, this name Frankie. Frankie, come on in here.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. And you?
Hello to the GentCulture crowd.
Hi everybody. Hi everybody in Gent Culture.
Now, Dame is going to help me carry out this exercise. She's going to be the female that I'm going to pitch two kinds of conversations to her. And at the end of each conversation, she's going to be honest about how she felt about the guy who pitched the conversation. Okay? All right, Dame, you ready?
Ready?
All right, now the first conversation I'm going to pitch comes from it's a generation of what you guys hear from Red Pill guys, SYSBM, and the Manosphere, okay? And the way they have you guys talking. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, okay? All right, so here we go. First conversation. All right, Damon, you ready?
Ready?
All right, here we go. What's going on, girl? What's up with you? Man, you look fine. I'm gonna tell you like this here, right? I ain't with no kids, but I wouldn't mind you being my baby mother, you know? But here, check it out, right? I do got some time on my hands. And I ain't with no relationship, but you seem like you might want to be wifey material. But here's the deal, right? I'm not really stabilized yet. I'm between jobs. You know, I'm staying with my people. Sometimes stay with my mama. My mama said that I can go back to school, you know. But while I'm getting that, you know, I'm trying though. I ain't one of these niggas out here who ain't doing nothing. At least I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. With that, let's get back to you. You fine like the way you look. Your skin is tight. You looking real chill. You know, how about I get that number and we can take this to another level, you know what I'm saying? All right, first conversation. Now let's ask Dame what she thought of that. So Dame, what did you think of that conversation? What was the strong points and the weak points? And what did you think of the guy?
There was no strong points in the conversation. Uh, I couldn't take the guy seriously. Um, Number one weak point, I have no. He didn't introduce himself. He didn't ask my name, so that means he ain't interested in me as a person. And the way he keeps describing my body, that's all he sees is my body. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and he needs to work on himself. And he's wasting time talking to me instead of getting himself and his stuff together.
I'm curious, what did you think about his financial stability? He said that he was in between jobs and he was living with some friends and with his mother who will let him go back to school. And that he's trying. How did that strike you?
Um, well, okay, it strike me as a little odd. He's telling me all this the first time he meets me, and that he's not financially stable, and he ain't trying to, as far as I'm concerned, because he is, as I said, wasting time talking to me instead of getting himself together. First thing off,
Mm.
getting a job.
Now, did you feel that this was a man that can accomplish anything? Somebody that, if you got with, that you would feel confident that he can accomplish anything, solve problems, take care of anything?
No, no, no. I don't.
And
I don't have any confidence in it. In fact, it seemed like he's he's a kid. Everything about him screams that he's a kid. Like he's really really young.
okay, okay, okay. Thank you. And now you see the conversation. This is the conversation that these guys have. And I get that conversation from what I hear from these guys and the way they talk. The content of a conversation like that doesn't tell a woman that you are confident. It doesn't tell a woman that you are a man of accomplishments. It doesn't tell a woman that you can solve problems. It doesn't tell a woman that you can protect. It doesn't tell a woman any of these things. And in fact, it tells her the exact opposite, and that she may have to worry and that she may struggle. Never tell a woman you're in between jobs. That's a huge mistake. Never tell a woman that you're trying to get on your feet. Don't say these things because when you say I'm trying to get on my feet and things like that, that's a sign of weakness. You're supposed to be on your feet already. You're a man. So if you go to the woman and you're trying to win her hand in courtship, one of the last things you can do is tell her that you're trying to get on your feet. What purpose would that serve? If you're trying to get on your feet, then what do you need to? What are you doing with her? A lot of you guys make this mistake, and then giving too much bad information to the woman. Women hear differently. They don't hear what you want them to hear. They hear very differently than us. They hear what they want to hear, not what we want them to hear. They listen to very, very specific things when it comes down to choosing the mate. A lot of you guys can talk yourself out of a relationship or any kind of companionship or even any kind of signs of even a first date with a woman depending on how you talk and the content of what you're talking about. Now we're going to try another conversation. Again, we're going to use Dame to help us with this exercise. Now this time we're going for a different result. We're not going to be perfect with it, but we're going to see if we can get a different result, a more positive result. And so you guys can have an understanding on how to approach a conversation with a woman. Now understand something, every woman is different. So you have to be creative. You have to think. Okay? You don't just it's not a one size fit all situation. All right? All right, so let's go for a different result, okay? All right, Damon, you ready?
Yes.
All right. Okay, here we go. Next conversation. Hello, how you doing? My name is Robert McAllister.
Hello,
And you
Robert.
are?
My name is Dame Frankie.
Hi, Dame. I noticed something. This cafeteria, it seemed like we have it in common. I've come here for the last 4 weeks, and I've seen you here at least, um, every other time that I've come here. Do you like this cafe?
Yes. Uh,
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like the espressos that they sell. What's your favorite drink here at the
uh, I
cafe?
really, I really like their teas.
Oh,
I
okay.
come here when I want a hot cup of tea and stuff.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, one of the reasons why I come here a lot, I've been doing a project down the street. I don't know if you've seen that big construction site down the street. Well, I run that construction site. I've been building the 5-story apartment building down there, and that project is nearly finished. And once I'm done with that project, we have another one on the other side of town that we're going to do. I've been a contractor now for about 10 years, and construction is something that I love to do. So what brings you along?
I'm here. Well, I'm here for an appointment, and my appointment is over with. So I come to get some tea, and get some lunch, and make my way back.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'll tell you what. How do you feel about having some fun? Like, what do you do for fun?
I read.
Oh, I like to read too. Especially I like crime novels. I think crime novels are very exciting. I like that mystery, and that ability to solve problems. I'm a problem solver. Being a contractor, I solve problems with my architect. We figure out what goes here and what goes there when it comes down to building our projects. So I'm very familiar with problem solving. I'll tell you what. Was the last time you've been out on a date?
It's been a while. I've been taking a break from it.
Okay, I haven't been out on a date in a while either. Okay, but I'll tell you what. Maybe one day you can join me for a cup of coffee here at the cafe, and we don't have to be two strangers about it. Okay, not anything serious, but just a little friendly date. All right, I'll leave you my phone number. You can contact me at your leisure. How's that?
Uh, thank you. That'd be fine.
Okay, here's my number. And listen, I got to get along now. I got to go down here and take care of my workers so we can get this project finished. And I hope to hear from you soon.
All right. It's
All
nice
right,
to
take
meet
care.
you.
Nice to meet you too. And looking forward to talking to you soon. Take care.
You have a good day.
All right, second conversation. Now, before we make any assumptions, right? Let's ask
Hmm.
Dame how she felt about that conversation and get her honest opinion. So, Dame, what did you feel about that conversation? What was the strong points and weak points, and what did you think about the guy?
Okay. I think uh he was hardworking. Um, and he was polite. And okay, his strong points were, first of all, he introduced himself. So I have a name, and he asked for my name. He told me something about himself, you know, and that he have noticed that I've been to a place for a while. So um, I'm not just a random woman. He's coming up to. He told me he's working with the type of job he has, where he's working at, and that is steady work. Hmm.
Uh,
As for the
what do you
the
thought? What did you think about the part where he said that
hmm
when he asked you what do you like to do for fun, and you said read, right? And he
hmm
piggybacked off of that with crime novels. And the reason why he
hmm
did that is because he said he loves the fact that they solve problems. He's a problem solver.
hmm
He often solves problems on his job with an architect. He did that for a reason. What do you think about that?
well, yeah, I thought he did it for a reason. It sounded like he was doing a job interview, but yeah, I had a feeling that's what it was, because he didn't tell me the name of the book, you know, or the author, just the genre, and but why he likes those genres. So
And
I
one more,
know.
and one more thing, right? When he asked you, which could
Hmm.
have seemed a little pushy, all right, fellas, but okay, right, a closed mouth don't get fed.
Uh huh.
Okay, sometimes you have to push the envelope to know if you can put something inside the envelope. Okay, so when he asked her, when was the last time she went on a date? Now, some of you would have been stuck here from my answer. Now, Dane, when he asked you, was the last time you went on a date? What did you say?
I said it'd been a while that I was taking a break from dating.
Now, a lot of y'all would have been defeated by that right there. It's been a while. She's taking a break. A lot of y'all would have that would have registered to a lot of y'all. Okay, she's not available. And many of y'all would have backed off at that point. Okay, but a confident man, the man that understands the feminine nature, doesn't back off at that point. As a matter of fact, he turns it up. Okay, so what he did was he insisted that they go out on a date in a very, very slick way. He insisted that they go out on a date and kept the ball in her court. But he
Uh-huh.
gave her his phone number and said that she can call him at her leisure. So that doesn't sound like he's pushy. That
Uh-uh.
doesn't sound like he's trying to make her do something she don't want to do. He's
Yeah.
keeping her in her comfort zone and allowing her to make the decision. Then what do you think about that?
I think that was very, very good move, and something that isn't done often. So
Mm.
that'll get the attention immediately, and she don't have to worry about whether she should give her phone number or not. So that was very smooth, a big plus as far as
Right.
I was concerned. Hmm.
And the reason why he was confident, yeah, now that's a grown man move, y'all. And the reason why he was confident of giving her his number, never asking for hers. You notice he never asked her for a number.
Hmm.
Because you know what he's banking on? He's banking on that he gave her enough information that he was exciting, he was intriguing, and that there was enough information that he gave her that would want her to seek out more information and at least find out about him even more or take a chance. I wonder what's going on with this Robert McAllister. You know, she's thinking about him. What is this guy like? Well, let me give him a call. See, he created all of that with his information, the content of his conversation. He created that inquisitive nature inside of her. That's why he left her number, because he was confident that she was intrigued and wanted to find out more. Now, Dame, was he successful at that?
Yes.
Tell
Yeah.
tell tell the Gen Culture audience why he was successful at that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. He kept her in the comfort zone. He wasn't too pushy. He left it open to be, casual. He gave her enough information if she wanted to check him out for herself to see if he's on up and up. She can find him. He knows that she knows he work at the building, on construction site at the building across the way, and knows where the next project is going to be at. Also,
Exactly.
he was confident enough where he gave her his number and then put pressure on her for hers, and she didn't have to worry about if he's safe to give her number to. So it
That's
left the
right.
ball in her court.
Right.
Hmm.
Left her in her comfort zone so she can make a decision. And now she's thinking about me. She's thinking about Robert. You know, what's going on with this Robert? She may even come by the construction site just to
Hmm.
have a look to see what's going on down there. She's interested.
Hmm.
Okay, here's a man of means. Here's a man that's getting the job done. You see, the reason why he talked about the crime novels has to get across to her that he is a problem solver. Men
Hmm.
must be problem solvers. That's very, very important when you're dealing with women. They have to know if you have the ability to solve problems, to create solutions. On top of you can get it done. Now, the construction project, right? Getting that done, plus another one in the waiting, letting her know that, hey, you got things moving and shaking. You're a man that can get it done. You're a man that's making it happen. And you're also a problem solver. You can
Yeah.
solve problems, and you can create solutions. This intrigues women because when a woman wants to lean on her husband or lean on her man, she wants to be comfortable and know that you can deal with anything that comes their way. You understand what I'm saying? And so he did not negotiate with her from a weak stance. His
Yeah.
conversation was cool. His conversation was interesting. It was exciting. She know what his name is, and then he left there. He left there in confidence that she would call him without even thinking about asking her phone number. Now that is some smooth shit, fellas. Is that not smooth, Dane?
Right. Yes, it definitely is smooth.
Okay, that's how you get it down, fellas. It's the content of your conversation. It's your behavior. Never tell a woman. Never talk to a woman this way. Okay, Damon, you ready?
All right.
Now I'm gonna give you a conversation that I hear a lot of you have with women. A conversation you should never have with a woman. And then we're gonna ask Dane why you should never have this conversation. Okay, you ready, Dane?
Ready.
Yeah, what's going on, Shorty? Well, I mean, I ain't trying to call you Shorty. I got a little respect. So my mom's taught me a little respect, stuff like that. Right there, Dane. What's wrong with that conversation already?
Well, he already broke the thing by starting call a shorty. He could have said Miss, you know, and then he gone into his mama. But
Yeah,
he already messing up the conversation of my mama taught me never to call a woman shorty by calling her shorty.
yeah. You already fucked it up. You already blew it right then and there. Because see, you can use your mother with women. But you got to know how to use your mother. Apparently, this gentleman here doesn't know how to use his mama in a conversation. For one, he used her too early and he used her in the wrong way. He used her to try to justify him being inept. That's the wrong way to use your mama in a conversation. Let's continue. Yeah, sure, but anyway, what's your name? Tell me your name first so we can, try on a proper situation. Now you notice she
Alrighty.
didn't say anything. Stop. Now you notice she didn't say anything, right? Because she's stunned. She like, what? Let me repeat that. Yeah, my mom told me different, so let me get started. Give me your name so we can start on a proper situation. Again, silence. She's stunned twice. Because in her mind, she's like, what the fuck is he talking about? All right, so
Exactly.
let's go on. It's in the proper situation. I like you and everything. You know what I'm saying? I be checking you out. You've been coming down here a lot. I want to get in a serious relationship, but I ain't found no one yet. You know what I mean? So, a lot of these chicks around here ain't no good. They
I'm still
respond.
okay. I'm sorry. That's my only response to that is okay.
Okay. All right, so let's continue. They ain't no good. I'm looking for a wifey. I ain't trying to get in the baby mama situation. I ain't trying to really, pay child support. Well, I already got a baby girl, and my baby mama keep hitting me up for child support. But that ain't gonna affect nothing between you and me, cause I'm just about to get this job. You know what I'm saying? But I know I could do right by you.
I'm just gonna be quiet and let him keep on talking. He's digging his grave.
Still silence.
Hmm.
All right, but I had a job, but I was making $10 an hour, but I got into it with my baby mama, and I lost the job, so I had to stay with my mama for a little bit. Now, I'm trying to get on my feet, but you so good looking, you know, I'm willing to struggle and build myself up, and I'm hoping that you're the type of girl that help a brother get on his feet. You feel me? Okay, Dane, respond to all of that.
It's nice to meet you. I gotta go. Bye.
Understand, women don't want to struggle. Just because they will help you and stand by you because they believe in you doesn't mean that they want to struggle. Women do not want to be in a man's position. They don't mind helping you a little bit. Some women will even give you a chance, even after all of that, right? Some women are so gracious, right? Like if you touch their heart a little bit, they may still try to help you. But understand something. It's not for you to take advantage of them and lean totally on them for help all the time. You ever like when you was kids, right? We was playing around in the yard that had a wall, and we was trying to climb the wall. And you know how when you go to the wall, you put your hands together to try to make like a step, and your friend trying to get over the wall, and he puts his foot in that, and you help lift him over the wall. But you don't do that all the time, right? It's just one time boost over the wall. Well, that's kind of like what women do. They give you that one time boost over the wall. Once you get over the wall, you're supposed to make it happen. See, a lot of y'all, when y'all get over that wall and there's another wall, you go back to her and say, look, I need help over this wall. And then she may help you over that wall too. And then there's another wall. You go back, I need you to give me help over this wall. Now you're going to keep asking her for help to get over these walls. Now you're wearing them out. Now you're putting them in the position to do what you're supposed to be doing, taking care of yourself. You should never approach a woman when you know you can't take care of yourself. How do you know you can't take care of yourself? A lot of you guys are too immature to realize you can't take care of yourself. Because some of you want a woman to take care of you. That's why you're immature. You can't take care of yourself when you can't maintain a job. You can't take care of yourself when your sartorial expression is that of a 9-year old and you're 35 years old. You cannot take care of yourself if you can't put a decent conversation together that makes sense, that intrigues a woman to want to follow you or want to find out more about you. You cannot take care of yourself if you cannot take your woman out on a decent date and spend at least $200. You can't take care of yourself. When you're unemployed, when you're living with mama, or you're staying with a friend. If you're living with mama, you're staying with a friend, and you're unemployed, then you are unfit to be in a relationship because you can't take care of yourself. You have to be able to take care of yourself. All this living with mama, stay with friends nonsense has to be cleared up before you meet a woman. Now, I'm not saying that you brothers are condemned for life, okay? I'm not saying that you're messed up for life if you live at home with your mama or you staying with a friend to get, to get on your feet. Some people have to do that. But do that first. Get on your feet first. Get your act together first. Then approach woman. Don't approach a woman when you cannot take care of yourself because you're going to screw her life up. Women are very loving and they're very caring. You don't want to take advantage of that and wear that out and have her build up some kind of disdain for you or animosity towards you simply because you've gotten used to her taking care of you or helping you out, and you seem to believe that that's something that should always happen, and you don't have to be a man to take care of yourself. How are you going to take care of a child if you can't take care of yourself? How are you going to take care of a woman if you can't take care of yourself? And again, a lot of you are too immature to realize you can't take care of yourself. You got guys running around here talking about PlayStations and Xboxes. They're 40 some years old and don't have any work. A job is essential to a man. You need financial resources. Without financial resources, you can't take care of anything. This is not some Aladdin's lamp where you get to rub the damn lamp and a genie comes out and you get 3 wishes. You have to make it happen. A man makes things happen. You guys have to start being men. You have to grow up and be men. Stop with this immature nonsense about pump and dump. That's immaturity. That's not going to land you a solid relationship. And you cannot have a successful relationship with a woman without love, which is something that a lot of you shy away from. You guys can't even say you love a woman. You guys can't bring yourself to say you love the black woman. And I'm going to segue into that quote right now. Give me 1 second. Dame, hold it down for me. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So in the first one, Charlene said, "I'll be scared he'd come on too strong and seems too happy and comfortable about his situation." Yeah, yeah. Yeah. He did seem a little too happy and cheerful about his situation. With that, with the line, why did none of them ever think to introduce themselves? You know, none of these guys ever seem to go with simple hello, hello, miss. My name is you know, and the next thing is, well, except for this
Okay, I'm
last one,
back.
they don't. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dame. Appreciate it. Glad you
Uh-huh.
brought that up. And this again, brothers, a lot of y'all talk about attitude with women. All right. When I hear you talk now, I'm a grown man. All right. I've been around a lot of women in my life. Okay. I was raised with a lot of women and brothers. But when I hear you guys talk about a woman's attitude, especially a black woman's attitude, I hear fear. You shouldn't be afraid of a woman's attitude. A woman's attitude shouldn't derail the way you behave towards her. You have to understand feminine nature. Female animals have attitudes too, especially a cat. A female cat got serious attitude. All feminine creatures, women, animals, have attitude. Why? It's a part of their feminine makeup. It's a natural thing that they do. When you have an understanding of that, then it doesn't bother you. A woman's attitude does not bother me. I know that they're going to get an attitude. It's what makes them a woman. It's part of them. They can't get rid of their attitude any more than you can get rid of being a male. Well, wait a minute. Some of you effeminate. Anyway, they okay. All right. Women have attitudes. That's what. Believe it or not, their attitude is what makes many of them special. It's what makes many of them so loving. Okay. You want a woman with attitude because a woman with attitude is vibrant, creative, different. So what if she says something slick? She's a woman. They supposed to say stuff slick. That's what they do. Sometimes I think to a strong man, right? A lot of times what they say is cute to us. I hear a lot of things that Dame say when she had an attitude. I think it's funny. I think it's cute. Same thing on my wife, right? I think it's cute because they're women. They make these faces. They arch their eyebrows because they're upset. Some women look very, very pretty when they're upset. All right. Now, I'm not saying that to have you poo-poo their attitude. Take it seriously. But also don't overanalyze it. Okay. If you're having a disagreement, she catches an attitude. Let her catch an attitude. She'll be fine. Stop interfering with women being women. That's a lot of you guys' problem. You try to stop the woman from being a woman. Dan, go on mute, please. You try to stop the woman from being a woman. You can't do that. Let her be a woman. Let her do her girly thing. Let her do her little attitude thing. Let her shake her hips and her little mood swings. Let her do all of that. That's just her being a woman. Don't listen to these guys who are weak and tell you, why am I got a bad attitude? This is that. These guys are weak. Kevin Samuels is the weakest guy probably on earth. That dude can't take nothing from a female. I mean, absolutely nothing. Woman says one thing, this Negro flips out. He got the emotional strength of a bottomless cup that you can just put water in and just keep going in and coming out the bottom. This dude has no emotional stability and strength at all. And that's what you want to be like. That's what some of you guys are following. A so-called male with no emotional stability, no emotional strength. I mean, zero emotional strength. Absolute zero. As a matter of fact, we should call dude Kevin Samuels absolute zero. Zero emotional stability, zero emotional strength. He behaves like a woman behaves. He behaves like a woman behaves. Whenever he hears something he doesn't like, his reaction is that of a female. Men don't act that way. Women say a lot of slick things. That's not supposed to bother you. That's what makes you different from women. The fact that you don't behave the way they do when they say certain things or when they hear certain things. When they say certain things or when they hear certain things, they react a certain way. You're not supposed to react the same way. Like if somebody comes up to a woman and says F you, somebody can be like, oh, who do you think you talking to? What? Now say that same person comes to you say F you. Are you gonna do the same thing? You're gonna be startled too? You're gonna be, oh, who do you think you're talking to? No. You're not supposed to react the same way. You're supposed to be stronger than that. Your emotional strength is supposed to be extremely, extremely powerful. She's supposed to look to you to strengthen herself. She's supposed to be able to lean on you because she gets emotional. That's why you're there. You're supposed to be the calming influence. You're supposed to be the emotional rock that she can lean on. Problem is, you're not that emotional rock. You're more emotional than she is. When you're in a situation with a woman and she's the emotional rock and you're not, man, look, all of that is wrong. All of that is wrong. So, now getting to what I was saying about not being able to express love. As a man, it's okay to express love to a woman, your wife, your mother, your sister. You guys heard me say this often, that love is for women and respect is for men. Now, your respect, your self-respect, depending on how intact it is and how well maintained it is, it also affects the way you deal with women. So we're going to move into the part where I call respecting yourself to love her. Now, one of the reasons why you can't love another woman is because you don't respect yourself. Because your respect is tied into how you feel and how you relate to women. As respect for yourself as a man. Now, if a man has no confidence in himself, you don't respect the things that you do, meaning that you don't have any confidence in the things that you do. Like it's wrong, like it's dangerous for a man to walk around filled with self-doubt. That's dangerous for you because that can cause adverse behavior towards a woman. You don't respect yourself. You don't respect the things that you do. You have no confidence in yourself. You don't respect yourself as a man. So all of that translates into adverse behavior towards a woman. Let's take confidence for example. You don't have any confidence in yourself, and you maintain the fact that you have no confidence in yourself. That's a form of disrespect for yourself, or that's a lack of respect for yourself. You don't have any confidence. And so when you don't have any confidence, it gets to the point where it can trick you into believing that it's the woman's fault. It's the woman's fault that you have no confidence. And so you would attribute not being able to have the courage to talk to a woman on the woman. It's your fault I can't talk to you. It's your fault that I walk around like a sad sack. It's your fault that I don't believe in myself. It's your fault that I got my head in the sand. It's your fault that I can't look you in the eye. It's your fault that I can't look at people in the eyes when I walk down the street because you have no confidence. So you start to blame the woman after a while. And when you have groups like Red Pill, Sissy Bims, gay guys like Woke Progressive, gay guys like Azura, 30-year-old versions, guys that have ever been with women, the manosphere, who's beating you in the face with, it's the woman's fault, it's her fuckery. That's the reason why you effed up. See, when you hear all of that, that enables you to continue to have no respect for yourself. And it's easy because you get caught up in this funk of blaming a woman, and you never learn how to respect yourself. Many of you don't respect yourself as a man, and it shows in your sartorial expression. Let me bring Dane back in here for 1 second. Dane, come on in here.
Yeah.
If a man in his 40s, okay, is trying to talk to you, and he approaches you and he says, "Hey, how you doing?" and you notice that his sartorial expression for his age is that of a teenager. He's in his 40s, right? But
Uh-huh.
his sartorial expression is that of a teenager. What
Hmm.
goes through your mind?
Uh, that he's denying his age. He's trying to stay young, or he's stuck in his teenage years, or he's just immature.
So you would say sartorial expression is very, very important. A very important visual that gives a woman a lot of information about an adult male, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, Dane, go back on mute, please. So your sartorial expression tells a woman whether you respect yourself or not as a man, as an adult man. So if you're 40 years old and your sartorial game is that of a 19-year-old or a 15-year-old, this sends wild and crazy signals to the woman that you have not grown up, that you are immature, and that you do not respect yourself as an adult male. And this also causes adverse behavior towards the woman, simply because you do not respect yourself enough to be mature, to act your age. You don't have the confidence or enough respect to even act your age. And so when you're not acting your age, when your mentality is much younger than your actual age, this can cause adverse behavior and outbursts in a negative way towards women. You're 40 some years old and you have the mentality of a teenager. Well, guess what? Your behavior towards women will be like that of a teenager, especially a rebellious one. So you have to get yourself out of these psychological trips, these psychological negative cesspools of undergrowth. It's all mental, fellas. Self-respect. If you have respect, you would carry yourself as an adult male. Your sartorial reflection would, I'm sorry, your sartorial dress will reflect that of an adult male. You wouldn't be 45 years old reflecting the apparel of a 15-year-old. Another thing, self-respect, right? When you get 40, 45, just 30, 35, 40, 45 years old, you don't respect yourself enough to even go by your original name, your real name. If your name is Matthew Bartholomew, then that is your name, Matthew Bartholomew, not Matt B or Money Matthew or Little Tay Tay or Little Money Mike or Little Money Matt. You're too old for that. And that's why you have a lot of celebrities who are getting shot down the street because they're still acting like teenagers. They still have the names of teenagers. So their mentality is still pretty much in the street. They can't stay away from the street, right? Because a baby, if you take a playpen and you put a whole bunch of toys in it for a baby, the baby can't stay out of that playpen. Why? Because there's a lot of toys in there. Well, the same thing in the hood, right? You can't stay out of the hood because there's a lot of immature boys in the hood and you are immature yourself. So you're going to be around your peers. You want to be around a bunch of immature boys. Let me tell you something. It's dangerous when a man turns to an adult in age, but is still immature in the mind. That's dangerous. Think about grown ass 9-year olds running around here with guns. You see, children do things with no rhyme or reason. Young boys and girls do crazy things because they're kids. How many times kids get in trouble for doing strange and peculiar things because they don't think properly? Jumping off walls that are too high that can break their leg or injure their leg, and their parents will go nuts because the child cannot appreciate the fact that he or she could severely hurt his or herself. But that's okay. That is a child. That child hasn't matured yet. But when that same mentality is in the mind of an adult male, it's deadly. Now you got these immature males with no self-respect running around your neighborhood with guns, thinking that it is a game of cops and robbers and you're shooting at each other. Except the guns that you're using are real. They're not water guns. And you're killing each other. Kind of like, when you play cops and robbers with water guns and little cap guns, right? You just ran down on your friend while he was standing there and you just pow pow. You're dead. And he go, oh, you got me. He falls down and he gets back up and y'all laugh and run. Well, you guys are doing that now because your maturity level is in the same place, but there's one exception. When you run up to your friend and go pow pow, he doesn't get back up. And so the lack of respect can not only cause adverse behavior towards women, they can also be deadly to your life. They can be deadly to you. So if you don't respect yourself, you don't love the women that's in your life. Because you don't respect yourself. A man that is confident and respects himself can easily love a woman. Easily. There's no effort at all. But a lot of you guys who don't have any respect for yourself, you can't love a woman. You can't even bring yourself to love a woman. All you guys with the pump and dump, I've never heard you say you love a woman. I've never heard you say you love a black woman. Because you can't. You don't have any respect for yourself. So you couldn't possibly love a woman. You think nothing of yourself. So you couldn't possibly think anything positive about a woman. Your positivity must first come from yourself. You must first think good about yourself before you can think good about someone else. Now, some of you know, you told me I think good about me all the time. No, you don't. There's a difference between thinking good about someone and being extremely selfish and narcissistic. Because if you're selfish and narcissistic, all you can do is think about yourself. And that won't translate into anything else. That won't translate into anything outward. All of that is an inner situation. It never comes outward. So you have to learn, a lot of you have to learn how to respect yourselves as men. And I can't stress enough about the maturity factor. Believe it or not, a lot of you are in the situation you're in simply because mentally you are too young to deal with life. You may be 35, but you're still 15. A 15-year-old boy can't really deal with the rigors of life because he's inexperienced. A 13 and a 14-year-old child can't really deal with the rigors of life because he or she is inexperienced. So when you hit 35 and your mentality is that of a 13, 14, and 15 years old, guess what? You won't be able to deal with the rigors of life. And that's why many of you sit up here now on social media talking crazy. And then I know there's something else too. You guys find ways to stuff your conversation to make your conversation sound intellectual, I guess to appease the woman, to attract the woman, right? But you really have nothing behind it. See, you can sound extremely intellectual all you want, but at the end of the day, if you have not moved a mountain, if you have not pushed and shoved or shoved and pushed, then there is nothing behind your intellectualism. Nothing. If you have not created, if you have not built, you have not moved and shaped, then there's nothing behind your intellectualism. It may as well just be a conversation about nothing. And many of you are like that, right, Kendall? Kendall, you're like that. Intellectual conversations about nothing, because there's really nothing behind the stuff that you say. All right, let me stop taking a shot at my brother Kendall. But anyway, so these Gen cultures aren't long. It's just me talking to the brothers. And soon I'm going to, we're going to expand Gen culture. I'm going to have some more brothers on here talk to me. Hopefully, me and the brother Rodney, will, to get together and we'll do a Gent culture together. I would love to get his insight as well, talking to the young brothers. You know, so look for that in the future. Hopefully, I can work something out with Rodney, and me and him will both do a Gent culture together, and we'll sit down and we'll talk to you young brothers about your behavior and how you're supposed to have your act together. You see, a lot of you brothers, you think the problem is the woman. The problem isn't the woman. The problem is you. You need to get yourself together. The women will fall in line once you have your act together. I cannot stress this, and I've seen this. I know this works. I come from a culture where it works. I saw it work. When the men got their shit right, the women fall in line. But they're not going to fall in line behind men who have no self-respect and have no confidence, and men who cannot problem solve, men who cannot build, and men who cannot sustain employment in order to bring in consistent resources, and men who cannot protect, and men who are not brave, men who are afraid of their own shadows, men who are afraid of a woman's attitude. They won't stand behind, they won't get behind men like this. They will not fall in line. And they will not respect you. And again, your sartorial game, get it up. Stop walking around here, 40 some years old, dressing with these oversized jerseys. And these big ass baggy pants and combat boots, you know. Dress like an adult male. Get some class about yourself. Learn to respect yourself so you can respect the women in your life and be able to show them the proper love that's due to them. And with that being said, I am at the end of my Gent Culture rant. Hope I've given you something to think about. Hope that you've learned something. And with that being said, let me bring in my partner in crime, Miss Frankie. She loves this. She loves it. Gent Culture is her favorite show.
Mhm.
So, I like to always ask her at the end of every show, what she think about the show.
I think it's a good show. Hey, Rodney's in the chat. He said most definitely. Anytime you wanna get together for a gent culture.
Yes, yes. Matter of fact, drop the link real quick. I want to have a quick conversation with y'all before we get out of here because we also got a doubleheader tonight. We got Black Ops coming on tonight too. So yeah, drop the link real quick, and some of y'all come on up if y'all want to talk about Gen culture and even give me pointers to improve it and things you want to see me touch on. And Charlene, if you're in the building, you can come on up too. Always like to have a woman's perspective on Gen culture because Gen culture is for the men. We're trying to change the minds of the men. Okay, we're trying to shape our men up so that they can be better husbands for you, better men for you, and better men for themselves. That's what Gen culture is all about. We're fighting against pimp culture. So go ahead, Dan.
Okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, a free zone loose said want to know what if a pump and dump people are ready to settle down and doesn't see a suitable woman.
What
They're
is a
not looking
pump
for
and
a
dump
suitable woman.
person? Wait a minute. Say the question again.
What if a pump? What if the pump and dump people are ready to settle down and doesn't see a suitable woman?
Okay, if you're a pump and dump person, you're the one that's not suitable.
Exactly. You have to fix yourself first.
Exactly. You're the one
Why
that's
why
not
you
suitable.
gonna
You're the
go
one that's
pump and dump
unfit.
somebody
Uh,
else?
exactly. If you are a pump and dumper, you're the one that's not suitable. What's up, Rodney?
What's going on, man? How you doing today?
Good man. What do you think about my gym coach? I think it's the first time you heard one, right?
Yeah, man, that was the problem
Mm-hmm.
is, see, when you're out in the community, you actually see it, and you
Uh-huh.
scratch your head, and
Uh-huh.
and once again, I go back to media. Everybody's stuck in boys in the hood, but
Yes. Thank you.
nobody want to be pop.
No.
Remember Pop in Boys in the Hood?
Yes.
Nobody
Yes.
long want to play the image of Pop. You
No.
still want to be the boy in the hood.
Oh, that's a great analogy, man. Right on. That's that's perfect. I ain't even think about that. You're right. They stuck in boys in the hood.
Think about it. This is where we stuck at. Boys in the hood.
Yeah.
You ever notice they never made a sequel?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Why?
what? Trey's father was a responsible black father.
Exactly. Nobody took a look at Pop.
No.
Why? Because that will break the narrative. Wasn't he a
Mm-hmm.
single father?
Yes, he
Mm-hmm.
was.
That
And
will
he's
break the
with.
narrative. So now you can't say there's no such thing as as a good father because Pop showed you an image.
That's right. And he was a responsible black father. He kept his son in school. His son did good. He was a responsible black father, a good black father.
And look at all the other women that was around here trying to throw him cookie.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh man, that's perfect, Rodney. Oh, I ain't even think about that.
And he didn't go around tapping every cookie.
and
That's
he ain't
right.
go around tapping that. You exactly right.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he warned his son, "Hey, if you better wrap that thing up.
That's right.
Don't be no pump and dump."
That's right.
In
Hell
fact,
yeah,
he
man.
got
That's a
mad at his son when his son was telling him the story of how he lost his virginity, supposedly. And he said, "Idiot, you didn't wrap it up. What about diseases, baby? You want to be
yeah.
a father?"
And look how he taught his son
Right?
responsibility. Taught his son responsibility.
But they never. The thing about it is they never never showed the sequel. Where's the sequel?
No.
So we are still stuck. These men never grew up. You stuck them
Nope.
right in that image, in that moment. And if you look at the culture, this is
Yeah.
where the culture has stuck it, in that image.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know another thing too, he never, even though he had some dealings with the baby mama and there was some strange things there, he never used that as an excuse to not raise his son. He didn't let the baby mother
Exactly.
stop him from being a good father to his son. And there was some dealings. They had some highly contested situations, but he dealt with it the right way. He didn't always get along with Trey's mother. It wasn't peaches and cream, but he dealt with it the way a man's supposed to deal with it. And he didn't let that stop him from being a responsible father. Charlene, what's going on, Brooklyn?
And
So,
for what I see is that we have plugged in this idea that a man need to be more connected to his feminine side.
Yeah, right. Unbelievable.
That no, a man's job is not to, because this is my thought, and women will agree with me on this,
Uh,
that you are very emotional. So when you say you are very emotional, aren't you also saying that sometimes you think irrational?
yeah, absolutely. And
So
as
it's not
men,
so
yeah,
it's not for us to take on that image. Our
that's
job
right.
is not to be emotional. Our
That's
job is to
right.
always be irrational. So
That's
that when
right.
we have our woman, our job is to not uh our job is to protect your emotion.
That's right. We are
It's not
supposed
to
to
be
be
emotional with you.
right. We're supposed to be the emotional rock.
Exactly.
Okay. They are emotional. They're supposed to be able to lean on us to help comfort them and keep their emotions in check.
Exactly. Our job is to protect emotion. When we go,
That's right.
even in biblical times, we look at Adam and Eve, and we don't really look at the choice that Adam really had to make. His wife
Mm-hmm.
made an emotional decision
Mm-hmm.
by biting that apple.
Uh-huh.
Why? Because the serpent put her in emotional. I had to do. I've been there. If you live
Mm-hmm.
out in the country and your wife see a snake, you might know. You might say, "Well, baby, ain't nothing wrong with that snake. That's a king snake. Leave him
Mm-hmm.
alone." But guess what? Because she is in an emotional state, that snake got to go.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do? You bite the apple, and you got to kill that snake, not knowing, no, you knowing, because you have already think, I need this snake because this snake telling me that there are poisonous snakes around here.
That's right. And a lot of things that they leave out about that, right? They say, well, it's the woman's fault. But when God came back, what did God tell Adam?
Hmm.
He said, I told you. He didn't care what he didn't care what Eve did. He
Right.
said, I told you not to eat of that tree.
And he took the punishment
Yeah.
because in his mindset, I'm here to protect this emotion. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes women make an emotional decision and we have to fall on the blade. Fast forward
Mm-hmm.
to how we are now, we have let our women run emotional, and all us men are trying to are falling on this blade.
I'm not even sure they're doing that. I think some of them are being even more emotional and pushing the women on the blade. And some
Right.
of them even want the women to fall on the blade like the men. This is why I said before, women aren't comfortable being in your position. They may help you out
Right.
a little bit, but that help is just a boost. That's why I talked about the boost over the wall scenario. It's just one boost. After that boost, you're supposed to take it from there. not continuing to rely on her for a boost over every wall that you come across. All right. We got Charlene in the building. Charlene, what's going on? How'd you like the gin culture tonight?
It was good. It was a good way on how to talk to women, how to be confident, and yeah,
Hmm.
just showing you what some men be saying. And you know, a lot of men is not gonna tell you up front what their situation is. That's why I like to ask questions before I even like meet them or do anything. And that's how you know most of them are like tricksters. But
Uh,
yeah, but yeah, but
yeah.
he did a good general example of how they talk to you in person.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Some of the information I thought it wasn't going to be quite on. It wasn't quite on point because, as you said, you usually have to ask a lot of questions to get some of the information that he had these guys pouring out up front. That's why I kept not taking. If a guy came at me that way, I can't take him seriously. I either think he's too young, or he's pulling my leg, or I don't bother. Like, I normally would not have stayed that long to listen to them, or I'm listening, but I'm just waiting for an exit moment. Okay. That's why my answer's like, okay, okay, nothing, or I say nothing, because that's what it is. I'm just let them keep on talking, and I'm waiting for a moment to leave, or I'm just gonna be, if I'm in a hurry. That's when you get the impatient. Okay, bye, and then I'm gone. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Cause
can you guys do a gen culture on online dating on how men should set up their profiles?
And y'all talk about online dating,
mm,
and I'm starting a page. It's going to be Rodney Mallory. Uh, my views from the bayou, wise man down the bayou. I'm just gonna say something real quick to my wife, so y'all can understand about online dating. She's standing right here. How did we meet?
Online.
Said it,
Blackplanet.com.
all
and we've
right.
been and we've been together 10 years.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 10 years?
It's over 10 years.
Over 10 years. I'm sorry. I don't keep up with time. I just know we've been together. Yeah. And when we were online, we really, I think it was 6 months. Yeah, 6 months before we actually heard each other's voice, before we actually met each other in person. But we talked every day. So when you say online dating don't work, I beg to differ. It does work.
No, I never said it didn't work. I said we should do a gen culture on online dating on how to set yourself up and represent yourself as your best self. Because half of the guys that go on online dating, I don't know what's their perception of what they think girls like, but they put up a bad boy image with them in like their do rags, braids. They don't even look like they take good care of themselves, and they are like in the late 20s or 30 and up age bracket, and that's how they set up their profile to look. And I'm like, nobody's gonna really take you serious. And yeah. So I think we
Well,
should do a gen culture on that because I asked some questions about why did they post these pictures if they could represent themselves in a better manner, you know? Is it my
Mm.
fault that I judge them because they set up these pictures with they got do-rags on and braids and they to me
because they set the profile up for what they are there for.
that's what I'm thinking.
Point blank. They set the profile up for what they are there for. If he shows more body, if he shows he's always dude up. always clean, always got the freshest fit on, always got the da 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 da. Okay, that's the glimmer. How you get it? You'll never see him in a work uniform, but he always flashing money. You don't never see him uh, with his mama or with any type of female that's not that is connected to him. Every time you look, it's a different female in the picture. If he even does he put a female picture up there?
No, you don't normally see female pictures, but you see the flashing
Right.
of the money. And when they hit me up, I be like, "Why are you flashing money? You're like this old. What are you on here for again?" And I ask them these questions, and most of them they say, "Oh, I'm here for a relationship." Like, I am not gonna take you serious if that's how you're looking and that's how you're dressed. And then I address them on that, and they want to argue me down and tell
So
me that I shouldn't judge a book by its cover.
so when they flash the money, basically what they're saying is I pay for it. If I want it, right? That's what he's saying. I pay for it. He's not
Okay.
telling you how he's gonna pay for it. He's just letting you know, baby, I pay for it.
Mm. So he's willing to pay for it.
So he's willing to pay
So,
for it.
and then he wonders why he attract all these women that want him to pay their bills.
But exactly.
Uh,
I don't know. When I see that, because I guess I'm a little bit older, I see you flashing money, that means you ain't really got no money. When I see you like dressing a certain way, I'm like thinking like this person doesn't know how to have an intellectual conversation.
Right.
Like,
You
yeah.
can tell by the conversation through the text. What is the first thing that he asks to see? What is the first question that he asks?
They ask general questions like, like how you doing, what's up, how's your day, stuff like that.
Okay, how you
It's a
doing? What's up? What
icebreaker.
mm-hmm. Script.
basically? Yeah. How's the conversation? Is it always
Um,
what I can do for you, or what can you do for me?
oh
Or is
no, I
it
don't. So I don't want to waste my time. So as soon as I see them, they look like a certain kind of person. Because I guess I'm a judge you based on how you look, your eyes, what you say in your profile, and basically how you carry yourself. So then I ask questions. So because not everything I see is gonna be true. So then I
Mm-hmm.
ask questions, and then that's when they come up and they tell me like this one guy. I asked him like, is that how you really dress on a daily basis? Like, do you take care of yourself and this one and the third? And he got offensive. And then and then he went ahead and he told me that he just came out of here from Georgia. He doesn't really have a place to stay. He don't have a car,
run,
and he's in this new
run?
city.
That
And
click, swipe,
and
left.
yeah, he been
Mm,
struggling. Like, oh my
mm.
God, I've been struggling. I just be like, yeah, I don't think you should be dating at all. And even if you do date, I don't think it should be serious until you get yourself together. And that was the end of
Well,
that.
Now that
well,
guy's looking for a place to stay. He's hoboing. He's
all right,
trying to
Yeah.
get a woman who let him stay up with him. That's why Rodney is going run.
run.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh no, this is not. I need somebody who's on my level, or at least have your stuff together, have yourself like, at least be okay with yourself. You know what I mean? Self-sufficient.
But at the same time, by ratio, it's better to go out to be out in public and meet than really
Yeah.
online because Yeah, that was the connection. But you know how many I went through? You know how many oh um I know we haven't met, but my phone getting ready to get cut off. Ooh, okay. I guess I won't be talking to you then. If you're looking for stability and you are unstable, how can you take on another person that's unstable
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking for stability? He has to be stable. Period. That should be the first question that you should ask. Are you stable? Oh, what do you mean? No, never mind. Next question. Because if he was for real, yeah, I'm stable. This is what I do for a living. This is how I go about my week. This is what I'm connected to. This is my beliefs.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not gonna do, well, I'll dip and dabble in online dating, but I do it for like a couple of weeks or a month and then I just hop off of there.
The crazy part about it is that we have looked over all our potentials when your potential probably is right up under your nose. The person that you feel that you want to be connected to, it's really right up under your nose. You understand? And this is where I came to come to a conclusion. And this is where I ask everybody: have you ever removed yourself from yourself and truly examined yourself? Because if you really haven't, until then, you're just gonna go in circles. There's no way you can look for perfection and you haven't addressed your imperfection. Not saying that you're gonna be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but you recognize. Some of us haven't even recognized our imperfections, and this is why we keep making the same choices, same mistakes. We say accountability, but how do you take accountability?
I would say first by, maybe you should take a break and just take a while and just love yourself, number one. Because if you love yourself, you will pick better options for yourself.
Well, loving yourself, you can lie to yourself. You understand? When you love, yeah, you can love yourself, but at the same time, when you loving yourself like that, are you in an emotional state? Are you really thinking with a level head?
So, or you can do like self work, what they say, shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. I don't. When I say we, I'm not. I don't put everybody in a barrel. I look at each person differently. Cast not judgment. I don't cast judgment on nobody. That's what we do, don't we? Are we quick to cast judgment? As soon as you quick to cast judgment, it is another way of looking past your imperfections. Because he who have not of sin cast the first stone. Do you really sit back and go, or do you hurry up and hit an emotional button and don't think rationally?
Well, good
That's a
thought.
very good point.
Oh, hey everybody. Free Zone Lou is up here.
Man, what's going on, everybody?
I'm just a wise
How's
man
everybody
down the
doing?
bayou. That's all.
No, you good, man. This is a good conversation, man.
Hmm.
I mean, as I know I was in there talking about pump and dump, but that's kind of a to each his own. I got my queen. I've settled down. I went through that whole phase, and I found somebody who was who I found somebody who checked all the marks in my box. Um, that online dating thing is crazy. I think that if we went back to the face to face interaction, that
Hmm.
would be a whole lot better because online you can make yourself look however you want to look. It's very deceiving. Um, you, you know, but you do. I'm not a big KS fan like that, but I do like one of the questions that he does ask women is that what kind of man, like you got to think about what kind of man that you want, and then you have to think about what that man actually wants. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, and this isn't even a woman thing. This could be both genders. People say that they want a type of person without even realizing that that type of person that they want wouldn't want them because they don't have the qualities that that person would want once. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's something to consider as well.
Well, my thing is instead
Hmm.
of focusing on the type of man that you want or type of woman that you want, why don't you focus on being that person that will want a person like you and hold your standard instead of hunting? Why don't you let it come to you? A fisherman, when he go out fishing, he drops his anchor in one spot of the water, right? And he fishes. He let the fish come to him. He don't boat all around a lake and so he sit in one spot. He prepares his area. He put what type of bait he want on his line so the fish can come to him. He don't chase the fish. Why are you chasing the fish? Bait your hook and let the fish come to you.
I like that, Rodney.
Yeah, yeah, and
We we concentrate on going to get it. I want this man. Well, if that's the type of man that you want, be the image that attract that type of man. That's the type of woman you want. Be the image of that type of man you want to be attracted to. You can't expect to want that type of man and not be his flavor. You can't expect to be that want that type of woman and you're not her flavor.
uh,
Sorry. What you're basically doing is you're reverse engineering and you're looking at the outcome and then you're working your way back.
Exactly.
And you know what I'm saying? And the focus of asking that question is to focus on you. You know what I'm saying? So like even if and it plays out on it's kind of convoluted on, you know, the KS show, but we can still gather a couple lessons that could be applied because a lot of them go on there saying that they want this quote unquote high value man and they don't reverse engineer like, okay, what kind of man would a high value man, what kind of woman would a high value man want? They just want it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got to be something that you have to look into the future and see, okay, how do I want my life to look like, 10, 15, 20 years from now? If you can see that far, you know what I'm saying? And then you gotta spin it back, you know what I'm saying? You gotta reverse engineer it and then work on becoming that person now. so that it
Right.
gets to that point. Absolutely.
Well, have have y'all ever looked at a blueprint, like a building blueprint? Well, when you
Yes, I
first
have.
the very first sheet, all right, it's gonna show you the building, all right. But when you build it, you flip it over and you start from the back because the back is going to have your what they call a benchmark. Then you bring the ground level up. Then you it's a process, but you can't look at the front of the blueprint and then go turn page one and see the almost final result. You have to go all the way back, like you said, reverse engineer. Whenever anybody is building anything, every building is reverse engineered to start from the ground up. Everybody sits in that business meeting and we see the final project. This is what we're building. This is going to be the outcome. So how are we going to make this outcome possible? So you have to reverse engineer. We have to start looking at ourselves. When we say take accountability, we really need to start taking accountability. We it's a difference between taking accountability and accepting blame. It's easier to point a finger than to accept blame. Yes, I was this type of person. Yes, this is what I did. Now, what do I do to clear that imperfection? I did somebody wrong. Just because you go and say, I'm sorry, sorry is just a way of putting a band aid on it sometimes. My point of view, everybody's playing victim when you're not a victim. You're just confused. Unless you have been sexually assaulted or physically assaulted, those people are victims because they were forced in an emotional state. If not, then you're trying to attach to their pain and it don't fit because you fail to look at yourself. I did. I did. Yes, I did. This is a choice that I made. We make poor choices sometimes and want to blame the other person, but yet never take our part of the choice. Until then, you won't find peace. This is how you find peace. You can't say I'm a peaceful person, but yet never had the stitches of the surgery to fix the wound that you may have caused upon yourself. We will say, well, I'm my worst enemy. How do you get rid of that worst enemy? Sometimes you got to remove yourself from yourself. I'm just rambling, but this is it's a process. Nobody wants to go through the process, but everyone wants the complete the solution. It's a process. You have to understand that process and be willing to go through it.
That is a fact, man. That's a fact. My dad always used to tell me there are no victims, there's only volunteers. And he used to drill into my head that if you wherever you are in your life is if you don't if you're the first thing that you have to recognize if you don't like where you are in your life is that it's your fault that you're there. And if you and a lot of people aren't willing to look past that very point because like you said, man, it's easier to put it on somebody else than for you to do the hard work. And even if it is somebody else's fault, it's your responsibility to take accountability for your life. It has nothing to do with fault. And you know, we live in a time that they actively embrace the victim in our time. It's fashionable to be a victim.
Exactly.
And those are the people that lose, man. Like
Exactly.
I don't have time. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have time for all that, bro. I'm trying to win. And you'll never win with a loser's mentality.
Because
that's because society has made us like that.
Exactly. Because see, when you go through
I mean, look at the communication; it's all messed up right now.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
I think Brother Rodney, salute to you, and Free Zone just said it, salute to you, and of course the two queens on the panel too, Dame, and as well as Miss Charlene and KS brother. Like you just said, we don't even talk to each other face to face. Like so, like now it's like okay, like you said, we could catfish each other online and stuff. You meet a female, she's popping on Instagram, doing this, all this other stuff, and then when you meet her in person, like let's say Free Zone or Rodney walk up to her, you like, man, I didn't. It's like I didn't order this. It's like you ordering something now instead of back in the days. It was like you actually step to a woman and you communicate to her. You actually talk to her. You actually get chose because really you put the ball in her court really. You know what I'm saying? And it's up to her whether she wants you or not. You know what I'm saying? But you at the same token, you know it's your approach. But right now we don't have that mentality.
Well, when you are in a depressed state, I've been there. The hardest thing for a person that is in the depressed state is look in the mirror. That was what I was going through when I was in a depressed state. The hardest thing for me to do was look in that mirror. Because I was told, if you want to get out this state, you got to address the man in the mirror. You got to fix him. That was my moment. Okay, suck it up. Don't nobody want to address the man in the mirror. We just want to make the man in the mirror put makeup on it. Change the picture. Change his feeling. But even behind all the changing, you're still broken. You haven't addressed it. And then we lash out. We lash out against the woman. We lash out against the men. That's why when I look at this thing, when they say, "Oh, feminine woman and masculine man," make my head scratch. My head like, ooh, why are we fighting?
Made me sick to my stomach.
This women's sphere, this manosphere, spear. Is it a circle or is it a spear? What I might be saying it wrong, but the idea is imbalanced. This is why I say we're out of order. Our sword is rusty and dull, and our shield is broken.
You know what I think it really is? I think it's I think it's childhood trauma that has never been healed and is being triggered as we grow up because because in our earlier years in life kind of formulates how our future will be or how will we interact with other people unless we go in and we change those beliefs and we give ourselves that love that we probably didn't have when we were younger. And I think that's what it truly stems from. If we don't heal that part of ourselves and then we go out in the world and we're already wounded, right? We're just putting salt on top of the wound. We're slowly adding more to it.
Well, what if you had a covered childhood?
I think if you had a covered childhood and you got the love and everything, I think most adults they will grow up to be whole individuals.
Because even, when I look at my situation and the way I was raised, I could understand that I had cover. When I look back, I can kind of understand that there's a purpose for me, especially the way I was raised, what I came through. I
So a lot
wasn't,
of
huh?
I was gonna say a lot of people aren't fortunate. As you know, some people have two parents in their household. They had somebody who listened to them. They had somebody who like encouraged them, who loved them, who was actually there. A lot of parents don't have that.
Right.
A lot of parents. Parents also. And those parents they take on some of that stress onto their kids. And it's a cycle that keeps going.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I saw it, but at the same time, okay, once again, briefly, so y'all know who I am. Yes, my mother left me at a daycare when I was 6 months old and returned when she was 13. I tell everybody that. But I was raised with a mother and father that was not married, but raised seven of us. None of us was fostered nor adopted. Once again, I knew I was covered. I still was connected to my biological family, even though I was disconnected from my mother. Never knew my biological father, but the man that raised me raised moral values in me.
I
So
I can. Oh, you go ahead, bro.
go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, wait,
No, no.
I'm kind of curious. KS came up here and he been trying to get in. I want to hear what brought him up on the panel.
Oh yeah, y'all was cooking. I didn't want to cut nobody off. I was supposed to debate woke on here.
Okay. That I'm so
No,
okay.
tonight? I thought that was tomorrow.
I guess it was tonight.
Tonight at
Okay,
7.
that means I went over. I was supposed to end the live. Max is having a little trouble, so but as you said, we were cooking up here, and I was supposed to end it about 10 minutes ago. Okay.
Well, well, I'll just say thank you for having me on. This is good discussion. I'll drop off, man. KS, but good luck on your endeavor.
Mhm.
Y'all
Appreciate it,
have a
man.
good one.
Okay.
Are y'all still doing the debate?
Yeah, I'm gonna be setting up for the Black Ops. KS is still going on. It's just that we went into Gen Culture a little too long. All right.
Nah, it's all cool. It's all cool.
All
Mm-hmm.
right, man.
All
I get
right.
at y'all then.
Yeah. Oh, I see y'all in the Black Ops. All right.
Oh,
So, Cass, give me 5 minutes well, 5 or 10 minutes to reset up. You should be looking same area, but looking for Black Ops.
Yes,
We
yes, man.
All right then. All right, everybody. Peace, power, and unity. Those of you who came for the debate, we'll see you in a few minutes. As set up for the Black Ops. All right. Peace, power, and unity, everybody.
I'll
And we're
see
gonna
y'all in a
read.
little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right. just a little bit of